and that was It's All Good by Superorganism, the opening track to our album of the week. If you guys aren't familiar with our show format, we review an album every week, and this week is Superorganism's self-titled album from 2018. They're a London-based band, despite all 8 members of them being from all over the world. There's people from Burnley, people from London, people from New Zealand, Japan. They're from all over the world, and they actually met online.
That's what I heard.
Quite interesting. So they met on an online forum, like a lot of them, and they'd made a band previously, and they were playing a show in Japan, and Orono, I think that's how you pronounce her name, the lead singer. She looks about 10. Can I just say?
She does, yeah, she does actually.
She's 18, but
oh, she actually?
Yeah,
I thought she was more maybe like 16.
No, she's 18. But... She just looks like a 10-year-old.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so she was off school, and she for some reason was in Japan, and really liked that band. Went to go see them, introduced herself to the band, and now they're part of this new band, Superorganism.
Now she's the front woman.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's pretty cool.
She went from a fan to the front woman. Yeah,
that's actually crazy. That's pretty impressive. Yeah, it's quite a cool like thing. How like wasn't all the stuff they recorded for the album like they hadn't actually they hadn't met.
I don't know about all of it, but I know for a fact Something for Your Mind was the first single. Yeah, and that was a hit, and they hadn't met. Yeah, I know that's a fact, but I don't know about everything, like every single song. But I'd consider this like an indie pop album.
Yeah, psychedelic like indie pop.
Yeah, something like that. They aligned themselves with Flying Lotus, Gorillaz, and the Flaming Lips. I can see where they're getting their inspiration.
Gorillaz definitely. Yeah.
They also tagged themselves on SoundCloud as Adult Swim. Quite interesting. I don't know why. The lead singer looks about 10, but yeah, at the time of this album coming out, she was 17, but now she's 18. The album peaked at 25th on the UK album charts. It didn't really do much better anywhere else, but it still had a presence in New Zealand, Japan, all these different places. It's quite interesting how they have quite a widespread. None of them that were hitting number one, but they had a presence everywhere. So let's get straight into the first track. It's All Good. I think this track really kicks off the album nicely with literally waking you up. Literally, your alarm goes off and it wakes you up. It's like, oh, what do you want to do today? And stuff like that.
Yeah, it nicely foreshadows the last track as well.
Yeah. I think it's like a nice little concept around the album. It's nothing groundbreaking.
Yeah, it's kind of just like the whole album's just like a day, if that makes sense.
Yeah, a day in the life of Orono.
So this is like this is like the morning, and the last song's like yeah.
And I feel like every track in between is just like her just going around her day, just thinking about things, and it just going into those thought paths.
Yeah, it's just a nice, it's like simple sort of you don't have to really. To enjoy the album, you don't have to like really know that. But it's just. But when you do know, it's like a nice little extra Easter egg, I suppose.
Yeah, it's like just a nice simple concept around it. But this track, it's actually quite a depressing song, despite it sounding quite nice, and like the hook being saying it's all good and stuff like that. But it explores like Orono, like with her feelings of depression and like trying to convince herself that she's like fine. Yeah. Because she's like looking at her life, and she discusses this later on about like the discontent of the middle class and stuff like. So she's just a normal middle class girl, and she's waking up that she has no real issues in her life, but she's just not she's just not happy with her life for some reason, and she's trying to convince herself it's all good. And I don't know if you noticed the Tony Robbins quote on the pre-chorus, like the little sample.
Oh yeah, the sample. Yeah, I remember looking into it and saying they used like a sample. I couldn't remember what it was, but yeah. No, to be honest, overall, I do like this one. I think it's one of the stronger tracks on the album. Yeah. I think, I'd say it's second or third best track. I mean that guitar like sort of little. I don't know if you'd say it's a riff.
Yeah, we were discussing this.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, but anyway, the guitar sections, we'll say, in the song, they're really cool. Like it's got a nice sort of. I mean, throughout the whole album, it's got like a sort of nice, relaxed sort of vibe. And I think this encapsulates it very, very well. Mm-hmm. I will say that sort of guitar sort of sound, because they use it in a lot of the song, it gets a bit draining. Yeah,
that is my main criticism of this album, is that it does become a little bit grating after a while. Like some albums I can listen to like 5 times in a row. This album I can only listen to once, and sometimes I struggle to get all the way through just because of the noise.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, like I was saying about Tony Robbins, he's a business and life strategist, and the sample that they use is him like trying to tell people how they can make their life better with these simple tips and stuff, and it's quite like an ironic use of of that sample in this song where she's talking about how she just is so discontent, and it feels like people like that are almost looking down on people with depression and stuff like that, because they're just saying, oh, it's as simple, like drink more water is like the common one that people say.
It's always like,
a lot more complex.
Yeah,
the
the people like who have never really gone through any sort of like mental health problems. The whole thing is just like, oh, just stop. Like, it's not really
just be
that
happy.
It's not really that simple. It's not that
not
black and white.
Yeah. So then if we want to go into the second track, Everybody Wants to Be Famous. It talks about society's just need for validation. So what are you?
It's a very interesting subject matter. I think it's probably like in terms of like lyrically and just in terms of an idea. Like I think in general this is just the best song off the album personally.
Okay.
Yeah, I really like this one. And for me, I can as well. I can imagine myself like this summer, like going into my garden, maybe pulling out my speaker, putting this one on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, cause I think it's probably favorite song off the album.
Nice Copperberg in hand.
Maybe more of a punk IPA maybe.
Oh, punk! Oh, Jesus Christ! Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. But like you say, it's an interesting subject matter. I feel like they could have done slightly more with it. That's my only criticism. Like I enjoy the sound of the song, and like the general gist of the song's quite interesting. But I don't know. I feel like they could have just pushed it a little bit further or something like that. But yeah, highlight of the track for me is when the bridge comes in with the pitch shift, and then it kind of takes away all the instrumentation, and then brings it all back with the chorus. It's a beautiful moment in the album. And then the third track being Nobody Cares.
Yeah, I really like the angle on this one, because it's like from the title you're thinking like, oh, it's gonna be very depressing, but it's actually the opposite of that. It's sort of like, oh, because nobody cares what I do, like I can do whatever I want. It's actually quite it's quite a nice. Yeah, I can't really think of many artists that sort of do that sort of thing where they take this approach. And I like, again, probably second best song on the album. I think
it feels like a bit of like, I don't know how to say, a coming of age maybe, because at the beginning of the song starts where it is a little bit depressing at the beginning, because she tells someone that she doesn't feel quite all right. She doesn't feel like 100%. And she just realised that no one actually cares about that. But then, again, they take away all the instrumentation, and then they bring it back. And then when they bring it back that second time, it's like she's had, like, something click in her head.
Yeah.
And she's realised, nobody cares, so why does it matter? It doesn't matter. Like she said, she can have a smoke, she can have a drink, do whatever she wants to do. It literally doesn't matter. And it is quite a nice sentiment that do what you want, like it's no one else's business apart from your own. So
there's also a really cool moment as well, like just there's like a little section of the song where just like they use this like fire sort of sound effect. That's really cool. That's one of the favourite bits from this album actually. I like that. It's a very blink and you missed it kind of moment, but I noticed it on like maybe the second or third time listening to the album. I like that as well.
Yeah, they do use a lot of weird sounds throughout this.
Yeah,
yeah. Like there's a dog barking, like a razor and stuff like that. And it really does use every sound that you could possibly hear, and I think that's a strength of the album though, for sure.
Yeah.
Reflections on the screen. Sorry. What are you thinking about that track?
Yeah, again, another interesting subject matter. Quite like it. Again, I like. It's got a really cool. It's not anything like, from the sounds of it. It doesn't sound like anything that sophisticated, but the bass line is really, really cool. It just sounds really nice. Like, again, I think it's literally just someone. It sounds like someone's just sort of strumming a note or a chord. So it's nothing like, groundbreaking, but it just on the track. It just sounds really nice. Yeah.
I think that's a thing with the whole album is it just is just a nice album. I don't think any of it is groundbreaking. None of it is like excellent. It's just like this is nice. It's enjoyable to listen to. But with this song in particular, I don't know about you, but I connected with this in a weird way that I hadn't really thought about. Like when I was younger and I was growing up, and I'd go home and play Call of Duty and stuff like that, and I'd have like online friends, and I hadn't really thought about the importance of them in my life in the wider picture.
Yeah.
And this song kind of goes through it a little bit more than I ever have in my own brain. It made me think a little bit about myself, and I wouldn't take it to the extent she did, but she kind of almost says that those people online has kept her alive and kept her sane, and I find that quite a nice sentiment. Like in a time where it almost feels like you're more lonely with social media. This song kind of shows how social media can help you to make connections with people.
Yeah, social media in a sense sort of helped her become part of a band, didn't it?
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah,
so that's probably what this is linked to as well.
Yeah,
sort
definitely.
I think it's just
it's very nice with everyone's slating social media, and I do agree, social media is very harmful.
Oh yeah, there's definitely
but there is also benefits to it.
It's quite refreshing to see someone actually talking positively about it, because
yeah.
it's almost become a bit of a cliche to be like, oh, social media bad. Like it's just. It's a bit sort of like I think nowadays it's just, to me, whenever I see people complain about social media, it seems a bit preachy, because I've heard it so often. Like, I don't know about you, but at school they used to like talk about it all the time, and it was just like,
see, that is the problem. It's like with anything. Whenever there's something bad about something, everyone will focus on the bad thing instead of look at the positives. And I do agree. Like I've disconnected from social media before, and it does benefit your life in certain ways, but. Even like with my friends from back home that haven't come to this uni, I talk to them every day on social media.
Oh yeah.
And without social media, I wouldn't have that connection.
The creation of group chats is kept together. It probably is keeping together like two of my friendship groups.
Yeah, for sure.
So like without them, like, be so much harder, because it's quite. I have like two different groups of friends, and they're like quite large groups. So it's like it's just easier to keep in contact with people.
Yeah.
So like, because on holidays now, like I can actually go and see them, because like it's just easier to contact everyone.
Yeah.
So big up social media is what I'm saying.
Yeah, shout out social media. Big up yourself, Mark Zuckerberg. Next song, Superorganism, with a few letters missing.
Yeah, Sprugnism.
Yeah, if you want to pronounce it like that. Continues with the idea of human connection, and I think it's kind of from listening to the band describe themselves. They describe themselves as like 8 individuals who have all become one. And in this song, that's kind of how they describe a superorganism.
To me, this is sort of where the album starts to like hit down, go downwards. Because I think, the album, I think it's very first side heavy.
Okay.
Like I think it's not. I don't dislike this song, but like this is where the quality starts to dip.
Yeah. To be fair, I wouldn't disagree with you. There's 2 more songs coming up that I really like. But this isn't my favorite song on the album.
Yeah, this is. I mean, it's one of the better ones of the ones that I like the least, if that makes sense. But it's not. Yeah, I'm not like I'm not. It's I haven't. For example, I haven't saved this song onto my Spotify library. Yeah. Let's put it that way. Yeah,
it's interesting a little bit, where it's just about people wanting to fit in. But I think that's all of that's kind of explored in the previous track.
Yeah, I just didn't find this one that interesting.
Yeah, it's just not that interesting at all.
No, I just find as we go through, as we start to go through the album,
down.
the subject matters of each song get more and more less interesting. Okay. Honestly.
Well, despite us slating that song, we're gonna play it. So you guys,
it's not that bad, to be fair.
Yeah, it's not a song that if it comes on, I'm gonna be like shouting to turn it off. It's just not an inspiring song at all.
No.
But here's Superorganism by Superorganism. That was Superorganism by Superorganism. If you've just joined us, this is Rock and Radio, doing our segment Album of the Week, reviewing the 2018 release by Superorganism, their self-titled album. We'll get into the, what is it now, 6th track, sorry. Something for Your Mind. It was featured on FIFA 18.
Yeah, this was, because I remember when you said we were going to review this album, I was like, I actually don't know any songs on this, it'll be quite interesting. And then this one came and I was like, oh yeah, I know this one. And I don't know if you remember, I think it might have been on here, or it might have just been in Life. Sometimes I get Life and this, and they're all just one.
Yeah.
But like, I remember saying how I didn't really like the FIFA 18 soundtrack. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't like this.
You don't like this song?
No, it's this is the only song on the album like I just don't like it. I find
really?
I find it's a bit too like I just find it a bit too repetitive.
Okay.
It's and then like I understand with choruses, like a repetitive chorus doesn't equal a bad song, but I just don't think the verses are that interesting either. I just don't. It's just
really.
I just find the chorus like the way that it's sung. I find it a bit annoying.
Okay, this isn't my favorite song on the album, but I think it's interesting. In the verses, I don't know, maybe you just didn't pick this up, but she explores like the idea of like consumerism. Like I said earlier, the discontent of the middle class, hating your job, and even, I don't know if you picked up this bit, there's a reference to a rumour that fans of Superorganism started up that Orono, the lead singer, is actually just a hologram, that she's not real. Talking about conspiracy theories earlier, so it's not the
even the thing
song.
about consumerism. I just don't think that's that in like consumerism being the subject of songs, just not that interesting.
No, it's not the subject though, is it?
It's been done a lot better.
No, but that's the whole point. It's not the subject of the song. It's more so the song's bringing up these different topics. So consumerism. I think the discontent of the middle class is an interesting one because it's not something I've really thought about before.
Yeah, but it's been done better on other tracks, isn't it?
Maybe I just haven't heard a discontented middle class song. before.
Yeah, no, but the thing is, as I said, like it's an interesting. But as I said, it was done on one of the earlier tracks, and it was just done a lot better, wasn't it?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but the point of this song is that it's bringing up these points. Just hating your job isn't really like an interesting one, but it's just something that everyone goes through, and then the rumor is quite an interesting one to look into. But then the whole point of it is just bringing up these ideas, and it is something for you to think about. It's something for your mind, literally. And it's all right. Like it's not my favorite song on the album.
Yeah, I think it just because I just didn't like the FIFA 18 soundtrack. Like this was one of those songs I was just like, oh my god, like I'd be in career mode and my ears would just be bleeding.
Yeah,
well,
this is one of the songs where it does get grating. I couldn't never listen to this song more than once.
The only thing I can say is I'm glad that it's like 2 minutes.
Yeah,
because if it was like 3.5 minutes onwards, I would just I wouldn't be able to get through it.
But the next song. It's like the least written song on the album. Like there's hardly any lyrics in it, but it's got quite an interesting story behind it. I don't know if you managed to get into that about how. So obviously it's kind of like transporting you to Tokyo.
Yeah, it's about like the trip to Tokyo, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sort of
and obviously it's quite like we said earlier where they met in Tokyo. It's quite an important place for the band.
Yeah.
So it's quite interesting in that sense, but it's clearly a place that they're fond of, and talking about how. I think they're talking about how they almost have built Tokyo and Japan up in general as like too much, and they're gonna be nothing but disappointed next time they go. But in saying that, it's interesting, but it's just not really something that really has clicked with me.
Yeah, I found the first half of the song a bit dull, and it was a bit reliant on like the guitar stuff again. Mm-hmm. The second half of the song is quite interesting. I kind of wish it was more like that throughout. Mm-hmm. So it's sort of like like one half of the song's like a bit boring, and the second half's decent. So it's just sort of like
I'd agree with that.
I don't really know what. Yeah,
I'd agree with that as well. But the bridge, I just disliked it. Like the bridge from getting to the first part to the second part, that middle bit I don't know what was going on there, but I really don't enjoy it when it comes on. But then the 8th song, I'm interested to get your opinions on this. The prawn song.
I actually, this is one that I actually looked into quite a bit because it's one of those songs that when you hear it, you're like, this has got to be about something, and it is. It's not just about. It's not like just an ode to prawns. Like it's actually like substance to it. And actually, I think in terms of like the second half of the album, I'd say this is probably the strongest one.
Okay.
Like I would like it's not again. I've not got it saved on my library.
Yeah.
But like it's it's actually somewhat kind of interesting, the whole idea of like correct me if I'm wrong, but it's sort of about how wanting to be a prawn just because of the sort of the problems that with humanity and that sort of thing. Well, that's quite interesting.
Yeah,
of all the animals, especially like picking a prawn, it's quite an interesting animal to choose. Because it could, I think it's like
it's quite a funny way to tackle quite a serious issue.
Yeah, exactly. Like I can respect this song. I respect it more than I like it, I'd say.
I like the bits where it's talking about have you ever seen a prawn cause a wall? Have you ever kissed a prawn and got a cold sore?
Exactly. There's some like nice little moments. I mean, like still, I'm not crazy about the sound of it, but there's like some nice moments. That's why I respect it. Like
I feel exactly the same. And it actually ends as well. I don't know if you caught it at the end. A quite interesting fact about how complex prawns' social systems are. Learn something new
I didn't,
every day,
but that actually is
learn something new. But yeah, it's quite a silly song. But I think that's the strength and the weakness at the same time. And it kind of makes sense with the sound of it all. And it's a nice song.
And like the music video they show on Spotify, like the little animation of the prawn riding the car is quite funny.
Yeah, if you ever get time, if you're only ever going to listen to one Superorganism song, watch the music video with it, because they have some weird music videos. It makes sense with their music, especially this one. And then the ninth song, Relax. Just a song about chilling out.
Yeah, it's just not much. There's not. But I think I've put in my notes just a bit of a nothing song.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I put cool riff, one of the weakest songs off the album.
Yep. No,
I'd say it's probably the second worst. Like, I don't dislike this one, but it's just a bit. Yeah, it's a bit generic.
It's a fair enough break because I feel like everything up to this point has had quite a bit of a story behind it and stuff to read into, but I don't know, it's not really something that really grabbed my attention at all. No. I'd happily skip this track. Like it's not a song that would be missed if it was taken off.
Yeah.
But the only thing that I would defend with it is that, again, if you're going back to the wider picture of the concept of the album, obviously she wakes up in the morning, she goes through all these things, and the previous track she talks about not wanting to be a human anymore. So it's quite an intense song, and you can't go to bed after that intense of a thought path, because you're just going to be going round in circles with that thought path.
I don't know. I think you could write a song about relaxing in a more
100%,
interesting way. It's, to me, it just seemed a bit sort of like, I feel like I've heard that song like a million times like before.
Yeah, I mean Bruno Mars did it better.
Yeah, I don't even remember which song you're talking about.
The Lazy Song. The one with the monkeys
yeah, Lazy Song.
It's a tune.
It's not too bad. Like I have some fond nostalgia for that song. So I don't. Yeah, it's better than Relax, I'd say.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. And then the final track, which I think is going to be a controversial opinion from me, but this is my favourite track on the album.
Yeah, no, I mean, to be fair, like, it's my sort of stance on it sort of changed with each listen of it. I really liked it the first time. Second time, I wasn't as crazy about it, and then the third and fourth time, I think it's sort of like it's fine. I kind of like how it's more dance orientated than all the other tracks. I thought that was quite cool, and again, it links nicely into the whole theme of the album.
Yep.
Yeah, I think as well from the production standpoint, I'd say it's the least impressive.
Okay.
But it's not. I don't
know.
But then not. It's kind of refreshing at the same time to have a song that's not as like all this production like being. Yeah. So it's fine.
I think it's one of my favorite like sounds on the album. Is this song like with all of them coming in with nighttime, like it just it's something about all of them coming in and saying nighttime at the same time, but also as well, I know I always dive maybe too far into the meaning of a song, but obviously it's being about going to sleep, and it's talking about Orono, who's clearly depressed, relies on social media and like technology in general a bit too much, and this song then brings in, we were talking about the positives of social media earlier, this brings in the negatives, where she's trying to go to sleep but she's so reliant on her phone, and I'm sure you've been stuck in this. It was funny, last night just before bed I listened to this album, and I got into bed, and obviously nighttime closes the album, and I found myself falling into the trap that they warn you about, where you're just scrolling on your phone for no reason. I've read these tweets 3 times, why am I still scrolling? And I don't know why people do that. But you do. You just you catch yourself in that loop for some reason. It is like an over-reliance on technology, and it is important to take breaks from it. And this song made me very self-aware while I was scrolling through. I was like, what am I doing? Like, what on earth am I doing? But yeah, as you said, it brings the album full circle. And I think it's quite nice as well with it ending with the alarm.
Yeah, exactly. Because it literally loops back to the start. Like, as I said, like it's not. Like, for example, it's better than Relax. It's better than Something for Your Mind. Is it? Yeah. It's near. It's not bad though. It's fine.
Yeah. No. It's in general, the concept of the album is just a nice one. You get up in the morning, you decide to do stuff. You do stuff, you think about stuff, then you go to bed. That's the whole concept. It's nothing else.
Yeah, it's nice and simplistic. It's not too like pretentious and like, because I feel like some of the stuff they talk about, like it could have gone, it could have sounded quite pretentious.
Definitely, yeah.
But like, no, it's just someone going about their day in a way.
Yeah, so I think they tackle everything with a bit of humour, a little bit of like youthful joy as well, like, and with the sound as well.
Yeah, like the sort of the upbeat sound is sort of actually quite nice to hear into contrast to some of the more depressing stuff they talk about.
I think it makes sense as well. Like we haven't spoke about this yet about the contrast between like the energetic and colourful sounds and the dull monotone voice that Orono has.
Yeah, in some ways it works, in other ways it doesn't.
Like
in Something for Your Mind, like I just get, it gets really annoying and
I can.
But like on like something like Everybody Wants to Be Famous, like it, I think it works as well. Like it really depends. I think more often it works more often than it doesn't, I would say. It's only really on Something for Your Mind where I'm like, oh, this is just like really annoying. I just can't. I find it. Apart from that,
no, I can't. Something for Your Mind is grating. That's why it's my main criticism of this album is, as much as I like the sound, it can get very grating at times. But yeah, like I said earlier, there's water used, there's cars, razors, someone snoring at one point. There's some crazy sounds in this album. It's really interesting to dive into. And we've both watched the, I don't know if you guys listening have ever heard of NPR Tiny Desk. I hope you have. If not, I highly recommend checking them out. But they have an NPR Tiny Desk, and something very interesting with their show is they're using like they're banging shoes on the table. They're like got a bucket of water that they're splishing around. They're like opening caps of like fizzy like drink and stuff like that. It's a very interesting like way to orchestrate a live performance. I thought it was very very nice to see. It's refreshing.
Yeah, because the songs that they did on that live performance, all of them were like songs that I wasn't huge on.
Mm-hmm.
I think the song that I liked the most from that set list was probably the Prawn song.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I thought all the live versions were better than the studio versions. Like, especially like Something for Your Mind and there's the Prawn song, which I thought was actually better. And it was Nighttime as well they played, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, they all just sounded better live. I think they're a band. Like if you went and saw them, they'd probably be better live because they'd probably do more. Like it's just I think it's just better seeing like them do all the practical stuff, like banging the shoes on the table, someone playing. I'm not joking. A bucket of water.
Yeah,
it does work. Like
it's like Noel Gallagher with the scissors.
Yeah, it proves that like. Just that you could.
It's creative.
That music's everywhere.
Yeah, it's really creative. In one of their interviews, they said that they don't draw any sort of difference between a guitar and a shoe. Like a noise is a noise, and that is something I really respect about this band.
Yeah, that's quite cool. Yeah, as I said,
as a debut album, I think it's very promising. Like I'm looking forward to their next project. I hope they can push a few of their ideas a little bit further. I hope they can. I think a problem with this album is it's very samey at times. And that becomes grating. I hope that they can hopefully develop a different kind of style but while keeping their identity. That's the important thing. So I look forward to their next album. But I'm going to give this album a 7 out of 10. I think it's a very nice album. It's nothing else. It's just a nice album.
Yeah, for me, I think it's certainly like promising. I'm always with bands especially like. I think you kind of have to take their first album with a pinch of salt because more often than not, it's just not going to be their best album, is it?
Yeah, of course.
Like all the bands and stuff that I like, not really any have like is their debut album the best. Sometimes it'll be up there, but it's never like the best. So like I've accepted that it's sort of they're still a work in progress to be fair. And I feel like the only way's up for them. Like they've got this like sound that's cool. They just need to sort of maybe. Yeah, just try and not make it sound so samey in certain ways. Because this album I just think overall is very top half, like first half heavy.
I'd like it if they went a little less poppy as well.
Yeah,
a little bit more psychedelic, a little less poppy, and I think that would. I understand they're probably trying to go for the pop route, but I think if they went a little bit less poppy, a little bit more psychedelic,
more variation in guitar sounds because it does. I mean, even if it isn't, it does sound like they're just playing one chord sometimes, and it sounds cool at first. Like when it's all good, you're like, oh, this is a cool sound. And then when you hear it on, what was it, like Something for Your Mind, and you're sort of like, it's a nice sounding sound, but it's just you've sort of took the mystique out of it by sort of playing it loads. So as an overall score, I will give it a 6 out of 10.
That's more than fair enough. So let's jump in to my favourite track. Where you popping Nighttime in your list?
Probably like nearer the bottom, I'd say. Like third or fourth.
Okay.
Bottom.
Nevertheless,
bad song.
My favourite song on the album, the closer of the album, Nighttime.